Boy, hey, my name is Daryl Graham. I'm going to share a little story or two with you. Sitting here looking at my camera. Got to get this one fixed, but I just got some bad news, unfortunately. My good camera sent it to California, and they just told me they couldn't fix it. It's beyond repair. It was fried. $1,000 camera gone down the drain. But that's nothing compared to my life, unfortunately. Um, got some pictures here. Some of my favorite pictures. This is my favorite song, Beyonce, for a good reason. Um, Life, unfortunately, hasn't been so kind. I want to say a few things. Some things, some of my family, or all of my entire family, this would be the first time they're gonna hear what I'm gonna say. I'm a little nervous. Um, gonna talk about child sexual abuse. For years, I've dealt with it mentally, traumas of my childhood. I've never really talked about it. I was a victim of child abuse for as I was, I guess, about maybe 5. I can remember 5 or 6. Most of my abusers were my babysitters. I never told my mom. I was always the quiet one. Everybody wanted to keep me. I was quiet. And unfortunately, being so quiet, things happen. I remember this one babysitter. She was feeding, whenever I eat peas, I think of her. She was feeding me some peas, sweet peas with some sugar. They were good, but she was fondling me, so on and so forth. She was much older than I am. That's probably why I dealt mostly older women, because most of my abusers were older women. And it was on a Halloween, because I remember my mom and my little brother's father, they went away, and I remember looking out of the window at the children trick-or-treating. I can't recall if it was before or after the sexual abuse. And, there were so many times I was abused. Mom went out, she needed a babysitter, but she never knew what the babysitters were doing. I remember this fat babysitter. She had me on top of her. We had a pull-out bed. We were living here in Baltimore on a street called Huffman Street. And we had a pull-out bed, and I remember lying on top. She had me lying on top of her on a pull-out bed, and she was rubbing me and, going through the motions. And again, I never told. There were some male babysitters who would try to put their penis in my rectum. I was a little kid. One in particular, my mom, I recall my mom, years later telling me that there were 2 brothers. Well, one was the bad brother. And I remember my mom telling me that one of the person's sons, he was stabbed to death in an alley, shooting dice. And, I said to myself, I hope it was the one who did that bad thing to me when I was a little kid. But again, I've never told. I'm telling now. I'm 50 years old. And, unfortunately, so many others, they're not able to do this. I don't want you to find out decades later that your child was abused. It happens. I got my wonderful pictures. I even got my favorite outfit. A dear friend, very close to me, she brought me this entire outfit, and I'll never forget her. And unfortunately, there were some wounds that were open. I mean, it was, I thought I was dealing with it. For years I dealt with the depression, the sadness, so on and so forth. And, sometimes I would just scream. I mean, I would be so sad. And that's probably why I have this, I want to save the world complex. I got to save the world. If I'm on a bus and someone needs some attention or some help, I'll go out my way. I just have to help. It stresses me. Often people say, well, Daryl, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let them grow, let them go about their business. But, I guess that stems from when I was a kid, when I really needed the help that I needed. I needed someone to rescue me. But, I needed someone to rescue me, and too often it didn't happen. And, but, I'm here. Now I'm in a dilemma. There are some bad people out here. Don't think that family won't molest your child. I mean, family, uncles, cousins, male and female, they will molest your children. Often I hear people, oh, I don't want that girl shouldn't sit on a boy's lap or on a man's lap unless he's the father. That's not true. Fathers molest the children. Fathers rape the children. Fathers impregnate the children. And so it's, you should do whatever you can to watch over your children. Because, again, while you're going out in the street and having fun while so-and-so's babysitting your child, it might be another 40 years before you find out what's happening today. I've got some, the last week or two, actually a couple of weeks, I've been contemplating on killing someone. Unfortunately, this is my bad bag here. In this bag, I have my duct tape. I have a sharp knife here. I used to put the string on it, so when I'm trying to cut the person's head off, I will hopefully not drop the knife. Then I have, this is gasoline. The gasoline, I have it in a mustard container. And so when I spray the gasoline in a person's face, I will take one of my many lighters I have and set them ablaze. I have my pepper spray. And there are other things. Of course, my gloves I would put on so while I'm stabbing him to death, my hands won't be burning. This here is, of course, an ice pick. So basically I intend to walk up to the person, spray the person with this pepper spray to get his attention, squirt that gasoline, start stabbing him, face, neck, I don't care, because this is a very bad person. This person, he went to jail for his crime, but that's not enough. At least I don't feel. And it's sad. This is a picture of me standing on a person's steps. And these are some other sad pictures. That's a picture. There was a young lady who was molested by her father. Her father was the music director. the music, the Fugees, Killing Me Softly. Well, he was a music director, award-winning MTV music director, but he fathered 6 children by his daughters. This is one of his daughters. Said they're going to give him at least 100+ years. That's nothing. I feel that if he had remorse, he would take his own life. I mean, that's how I feel. I've talked to some friends, and they say, well, Daryl, God will deal with him. I mean, I've lost faith in God a long time ago. And what little faith I've had after hearing some stories here recently, that my faith is gone, because I feel if God could sit around and allow certain things to happen, I don't want any parts of that God. I'm sorry. I mean, there are going to be some who are angry that I've said that, but that's how I feel. I started an online petition on change.org. What I would like done here in Maryland, there's a statute of limitations. So what I would like done is for lawmakers to eliminate the statute of limitation on child sexual abuse, like in California. So if you're sexually abused today, you can prosecute 20, 30 years from now. That's not how it is right now. And after 10 years or so, you can prosecute. One of my abusers, I slept with her for the first time. I was 13. And that on and off relationship lasted for at least 37 years. 37 years. And I'm 50 now. And, it's, the trust issues. You don't have a lot of trust in a lot of people because of bad things like this. I mean, I've had a lot of bad things, but I think the sexual abuse and to hear other stories, I thought my story was bad. My childhood was bad as far as the sexual abuse. But the story I've heard recently, it brings tears to my eyes, and I just can't get it out of my head that a person can do such. A person, how can you do it? I've never done it. I may have had, someone's wife or two, or a girlfriend or two, but never. I'm not in and that's for good reason, because, they say, well, the abusers, if they rape children, if they were abused, they're going to rape. That's not always the case, because it's something I don't do. And, I would ask you, to look after your children. Don't assume that something may not happen to your child, because that's often, it will, it's going to happen. Too often it happens. And especially these young children, young ladies that have their babies and 2, 3, 4, of course they like to still go out. You want to go to the club and you got 5 children. Your club days are over. Watch your children, get your education. But most importantly, watch over your children. Make sure you know who's watching your children. Even video, because things will happen. Too often, parents don't know until years later. And like my mom won't know until she watches this video for the first time. 40-some years later, I'm telling her. And I have to get this stuff together and decide what's going to happen. Either, I'm going to succeed in killing this person. That means my 15 minutes are up. And either I'm going to succeed in killing this person. He may even kill me. I may go to jail. I don't know. But, I just have to, I would say pray, but hey, my faith is not there, so I'm not going to pray. I just want you to wish me luck and wish for the best. And I thank you for listening to my story. Have a nice day.